Hey everybody, David Swor here once again for another episode of Frenemies, along with my good buddy DJ Cox, and we got special guests. Guys, I'm so pumped about this. Special guest Joe Friend from Tennessee Temple Days. How's it going, Joe?
Couldn't be better, man. Enjoying the shortened season as it is. I'm just pumped we got to see some ball this year. I was terrified we weren't going to see anything, so
Yep.
happy to get in what we got in.
Well, it's awesome to see you again, man. I think we've talked on the phone maybe a time or two or Facebook or whatever, but I think it's the first time I've seen your face since about 2003-ish. So anyway, it's awesome to get to see you. I can't wait to hear your perspective. Joe has a rich baseball history. Dad was a scout back in the day, so it's pretty cool to get your perspective on everything. But before we do that, we have to take a time out here, guys. And DJ, let's hear from our sponsor.
Tonight's episode, as always, is brought to you by the White Sauce. Coach Hall's White Sauce is online at facebook.com. You can find it on the page there. Order a bottle of this thing. I promise you, anything you put it on will be better. Pork chops, steak, macaroni and cheese, cereal, whatever you want to throw this in, it'll make it better. I promise you that. So look them up on Facebook. Go to the White Sauce page. Yeah, it'll be worth every minute of it. As Joe knows, we used to eat this stuff when we were in college. He fed it to us all the time. Great stuff. Make sure
the fried turkey specifically. The deep fried
Amen.
turkey, man. Oh, so good.
That's the stuff. I'll go get you some white sauce. You won't regret it. So, guys, last week of the season, DJ, why don't you tell us about the second best team in Chicago?
Come on, man. Can't say that anymore after what just happened. Hey, we're the 3 seed and they're the 7 seed in the American League. I'll leave it at that. So, all right, man, we had a pretty interesting week. The Cubs did, no doubt, this week coming into the playoffs here. So 3-4 this week, which is obviously not what we wanted. We talked about this, David, after the 13-3 start. We seemed to be just 4-3, 3-4, 4-3. The rest of the weeks getting through and just kind of getting by. And what we did again this week. Monday, 5-0 win over the Pirates. Lester 6 innings pitched, no earned. Schwarber woke up a bit, was 2 for 4 with 2 ribbies, finally hit the ball. Chris Bryant swung and injured his oblique. Just cannot stay healthy. Missed the rest of the series. He's back now, but he's banged up, so I don't know how well he's going to be in the playoffs. He had a good weekend, so hopefully he rebounds from that. Tuesday, lost 3-2 to the Pirates. Cubs battled to get 2 in the top of the 8th to tie it on a Rizzo 2-run bomb. Just wasn't enough as Stallings hit a walk-off homer in the bottom of the 9th. Tough loss. Albert Azole, who's been really good for us, pitched 4 innings in relief, 1 earned run, 7 Ks, young stud arm in the prospect, doing really well this year. Cubs also clinched a playoff berth with the loss, even though they backed into it. It still was a great day because they clinched the playoffs. So Wednesday, we lose 2-1 to the Pirates. All the runs for both teams were in the first inning. Rizzo has a lone RBI in the first inning. Hendricks was awesome, going 7 2/3, only giving up 2 earned, 7 hits and 3 Ks. He was awesome. Cubs didn't have an answer for Trevor Williams, and this one was very frustrating. The worst loss of the week by far, losing 2-1. Couldn't get anything going after the first inning. Not a good win at all. Not a good loss at all. Thursday, 7-0 loss to the Pirates, so we lost 3 out of 4 to the Pirates, which I told you, David, before this season. I don't know why, but the Cubs have too much problems with the Pirates. Pirates are the worst team in baseball this year, and it seems like we had a really hard time with them again this year. Fortunately, it didn't cost us the division, which it very well could have, but lost them 7-0, only 2 hits, 1 by Rizzo and 1 by Kipnis. That was it for the entire game, 2 hits. Alec Mills was bad, going 3 2/3 with 4 earned, which still worries me about who the number 3 is on this team going into the playoffs. I will talk about that a little later as we go through the schedule for the teams. This game was a dud, and on to the Sox we go to get revenge and start to get ready for the playoffs. Friday against the White Sox, awesome game, 10-0 win, butt whooping on the south side. I don't know if you guys saw this or not, but you baffled them for 7 innings, no earned, 5 Ks, 3 hits. Wilson Contreras threw a bat flip that's seen by NASA right now. Probably hasn't came down yet. I don't know if you guys saw that or not, but he bat flipped that thing so high. Cordero of the Sox then calls the dugout, says, "Coach, put me in. I want to hit him." This is what happens. So Cordero goes and blasts Contreras' next at bat. Don Cooper, the pitching coach, Cordero, and the manager, Ricky Renneria, all are, he didn't mean to do it, blah, blah, blah. Pulling that whole spiel, all got kicked out. Whatever, dude.
Get away from it.
You're lying, yeah. And I want to get to some after Friday here, but okay, so crybabies, that was my last part of Friday. So, Joe, I want your perspective on this before I continue on to Saturday.
All
How
right.
do you feel, okay, how do you feel if I'm standing up there in the plate against you, you throw me that 90-mile-an-hour fastball, and I Donkey Kong it, and I take my bat and go, vroom. Am I gonna wear it the next time? Okay.
It's coming in the ear hole. Yeah, for sure.
So you're gonna do that to me too. All right, I got you.
Absolutely.
I knew you were gonna say that, but I had to make sure.
Can I just interject something right here?
Go for it.
Joe, not only DJ thinks that you should never challenge a batter inside, period. I mean, if you want to hear DJ cry and whine, just let a guy throw inside like 2 times, even if it doesn't hit him. I mean, that's ridiculous, right?
I'll explain to you what I think, okay? So the plate, the 17 inches, that's mine, right, as a pitcher? Not just the 17, though. Anything inside those white stripes of that batter's box, you better watch anything hanging over it because that's mine. That's how I view it. That's a pitcher's perspective.
I'm not far from you on that, but if you'll remember, I think the Cubs were playing the Brewers. I was watching the game. And literally, words got exchanged because a guy threw inside. I'm not talking he got hit.
Right.
He threw inside like under his hands type of situation.
Sure.
And DJ was he was just about in tears. He was irate because somebody threw inside on his team. And
I remember a long time ago when this used to be a man's game. I do remember that. It's been a long time ago, but, it used to be that this was a game that hard men played, as Ken Burns liked to say.
All right, but Joe, come on, buddy. Now listen, here's my perspective on this, all right? Here's the thing. So, yes, you're going to come in inside of me. I get it as a pitcher. But when I'm getting hit in the ribs by a Joe Friend fastball or David Friend fastball or David Swor fastball, no thanks. Like that, as a hitter, and I know you know this as a hitter too, but the rage that comes up inside of you when you get hit that hard, it hurts badly. So if you're gonna come inside like that,
DJ thinks you should throw a bat at him. You should be able to.
I don't think you're making the case that this is still a man's game anymore.
No, thank you for the female perspective, DJ.
Yeah. If you need the tampons, I think there's a quarter machine in the restroom over there.
All right, well, I think we know where we're going on that one, so I'll just move on to Saturday.
Go ahead. Okay, next.
That's what you get for having 2 pitchers on your show.
I knew where that was going. I can't stand it. Never mind.
I'll tell you this. I hit a guy once for his comments he made walking by our dugout.
Nice.
I didn't mean to. I hit him in the kneecap, and actually the next time we played them, he was on crutches.
See? That's because you own the middle of the plate. The dude's on crutches.
Big lefty first baseman, and I marked his number when he went by, but he was like, man, this place is a dump. I can't believe we have to play here today. What was that? Ingalls Stadium.
Georgia.
Ingalls Stadium was awesome. That was phenomenal. That was a great place to play. And I marked his number, and I hit him in the knee.
Yeah.
And he went down in a heap, and we didn't see him the rest, but we played him about 3 weeks later, and he was still on crutches. So that's how I feel about that.
I respect that because you were my pitcher. If you're my pitcher, you can hit anybody you want. I don't care. Other pitchers hit me, then I get mad. Saturday.
Well, at least I you throw the easy fastball, the runner, the cutter.
Yeah.
That way it didn't hit him at 92 or 93. It hit him at 89, but it chased him. You're not going to miss.
That's true. Keep following him. Out of the way of it. Perfect, man. That's awesome. So Saturday was a 9-5 loss to the White Sox. Nothing matters because the Cubs clinched the NL Central, so that game didn't even matter. Who cares? Moving on. Sunday, win 10-8. Knocked the Sox to the 7 seed all the way down. Took the series from them 2-1. Best team in Chicago, of course, stands up and wins it down the stretch. Game wasn't even close. Our top prospect, Braylon Marquez, made his debut. I don't know if you guys saw this or not. He went 2/3 of an inning in the 8th inning, gave up 5 earned in his debut. His 2020 ERA will go down as 67.50. He struggled a lot. Scouts are really high on him. He did throw 100 miles an hour from the left side, very
Wow.
smoothly, so that is impressive to see. He was very wild, which he's never played above A ball, so that's going to happen. He's just young and very raw right now. So if he can get it together, man, he's going to be awesome. I know that was not the outing he was looking for. Cubs had plenty of runs, and it was a perfect opportunity to throw him in there, so they did it. Billy Hamilton went yard in that game too, so that just proves that the baseball's still juiced.
Yeah,
Definitely.
no kidding.
All right, tidbits. 1984, 1989, 1998, 2003, 2007, 2008, 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, and now 2020. Playoffs for the Cubs in my lifetime. 11th time. Super excited to get the Marlins. Didn't want anything to do with the Reds, and we'll talk about this later with you, Joe. Didn't want the Brewers because we see them so much. Wasn't as scared of them, but they got top pitching. Didn't want the Cardinals, so I was asking for the Marlins, and I'm gonna be happy to see them. Gonna get revenge for the 2003 series. Game 1, I hope we go Hendricks. Game 2, going you. The only reason I say that is because it gives them a little more time for each guy to have a little more time in between starts. Game 3, I would go with Quintana and go with the best relievers after that. We'll see how it goes. I'm not ready for Alec Mills to start or John Lester. Very scared of both of those guys on the mound. Real quick, if I were to make the lineup, Schwarber's in left, Haps in center, Hayward's in right. Bodie would start at third over our boy Bryant, who would DH, Baez at short, Kipnis at second, Rizzo at first, Hendricks on the mound, Contreras would be the catcher. It is time for the playoffs, and I'm super excited, and we will get more into the matchups themselves later. But it was a terrible start to the week for the Cubs, which ended greatly by spanking the Sox and knocking them all the way from a possible 2 seed to a 7 seed. So I was completely excited by the Cubs week this week.
How good is it? How good has it been to see Hayward come alive?
I'll tell you what, man. David knows this. Is Hayward drives me bonkers, and there's a few things he did early in the season that I was really unsupportive of, and he was off to a slow start, but he really picked it up, man. I'll tell you what he did when he hit that ball off a hater in the 9th inning that gave us that big win there. I really believe that this team kind of turned the switch, and they got hot for a little while after that. And if not for him, man, a lot of them guys give him credit for that speech in 2016, and I was kind of like, come on, man, we gave all this guy all this money, and he's a speech guy, so it's good to see him. Good to see him producing this year. Besides Ian Happ, I really do believe he was one of the best offensive players we had all year. And I love his glove. I've always had no problem with his glove and his arm. He's been awesome in the outfield. So, yeah, it is good to finally see him producing.
I always give Zobrist a huge amount of credit, too, for that team's victory, the World Series that year. He was amazing that year.
He was awesome.
So, Joe, let's talk about some Braves, man. I've been a Braves fan all year. A little worried about their pitching going into the playoffs, but give us a Braves update.
Yeah, I don't have the game-by-game breakdown like DJ there. I didn't realize how deep we were going. But honestly, the most of this week has been us just tuning up for the playoffs. We wrapped the playoffs early in the week, giving Acuna a couple days off. We've had a couple bullpen games. Even got to see Tucker Davidson, which is one of our young up-and-coming studs. Lefty throwing 93, 94 with good movement, great hook, and a nice change. Seems like we got a million of them. They just keep coming up in waves. But I think the highest he's pitched is Double-A. So I think he went 2 2/3 or something like that, gave up 5 or 6 to Boston. No big deal. It's just giving him a taste. But all in all, I think Freddie Freeman has put a nice exclamation onto his season. I have a feeling I know who I'm going to be throwing my MVP vote behind. Azuno was actually voted the player of the week this week. In my opinion, I think he's the best offseason signing this year by any team. His bat has been amazing in our lineup. Ozzy's been coming alive. I'm going to tell you guys, I don't know that there's a better lineup other than maybe LA in the playoffs. And I think we're all healthy. They're swinging it great. And there's nowhere to go for outs, unless Ender ends up in center field for some reason and Snicker fell on his head and puts him in. It's a great lineup. I didn't think I'd like the DH, but it's been nice being able to stick Ozuna in there and not have to see him out in left field kicking the ball around. So starting pitching is a big worry. Fried has had, probably top 5 Cy Young year, phenomenal. Ian Anderson has come in and shown the promise why we drafted him number 3 overall a couple years back. And Kyle Wright, for whatever reason, the light has gone on, and he looks like a guy who actually has a pretty good future ahead of him. So we have 3 guys that we're going to throw. I just don't know what we're going to get out of 2 of them. Losing Soroka this year really hurt.
Mm-hmm.
You don't lose your ace and not feel it. So, but I mean, we're scoring I think we scored 45 runs in 4 games, a couple last week. So the bats have been there, and when we have the bullpen game or the guy who goes three innings, Alex did a great job. Alex Anthopoulos did a great job of securing our bullpen. So we've got, I think, 4 legitimate closers out there.
Mm-hmm.
So no matter what's going on in the game, we can shut down an inning and still have a guy for the back end, this is a really great luxury, specifically this season, because, you don't know who's going to be out with COVID. You don't know when they're going to be there and when they're not. So all in all, it's been a really good season. This week has been a more relaxed week for us, more getting everybody healthy, making sure everybody's rested. And I'm pretty excited about where we're headed in the playoffs. We'll be the number 2 seed. I don't love facing the Reds, but you're going to face starting pitching somewhere, so why not jump right into it? Bauer's going to be tough as he always is. Castillo is pretty daggum amazing. His changeup is ridiculous. But I have more confidence in this lineup this year than I have probably in the past 10 years of when we've made the playoffs. So I'm pretty excited. I think we may see you guys in NLCS. So that's my guess, but we'll talk about that a little later. So
yeah, man, I hate to say it, DJ, because I've been hating on this playoff situation all year. But now I'm actually kind of excited about it. I kind of like the expanded thing a little bit better than I thought I would. It's made for some interesting matchups, and man, I would not want to draw the Reds. That again, we'll talk about this later, but gosh, what a tough draw. But like you said, they're going to have to face good pitching somewhere anyway. And in the words of Ric Flair, to be the man, you got to beat the man.
Absolutely. Well, the best thing about facing the Reds is you got about 3 hitters to get around. Yeah. The rest of their lineup are not going to beat you. So, if we can just get enough pitching just to get around those 3-4 guys, we should be able to pull it out. So,
So Joe, I do got a question
guys,
for you.
Yeah, man.
Real quick before we move on to you, David. I want to know real quick. So give me your favorite player as a kid for the Braves, your player that you loved when you were in high school / college, and then your present guy that you love. So 3 different guys, if you could do that for me.
Absolutely. So Murph, 100%, David Murph. Or Dale Murphy was I wore number 3 all through Little League.
In college.
Well, I did wear it in college too, but that was a luck of the draw. It was just the jerseys that we had available. I was like, I like 3. I'll take that one. Matter of fact, I still have my jerseys. I should have worn it tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anywho, yeah. So Murph was my guy. I'll never forget. I was probably 7 or 8 years old, And used to, back in the day, they'd show BP before the game came on, while they were doing the pregame stuff. And Pete Van Wieren goes, I think Dale Murphy just hit a ball through the wall, not over the wall, through the wall. And he actually hit a line drive at Fulton County Stadium that went into the foam of the wall. And as a kid, you think, this guy's a superhero. It was so cool, So it's definitely Dale Murphy growing up. I think the natural progression was Chipper. I mean, he just had the swagger, but he had the game to back it up, which was awesome. Another of those really ultra competitive guys, just hates losing, would do, hopefully not cheating, but do almost anything to win. And, take your pick of the three guys, four, in my opinion. Steve Avery was pretty amazing in his heyday, growing up, but watching Maddox, Smoltz, and Glavine, day in and day out was just a treat. And then presently, it's Freeman. It is. He's the heart and soul of our team. He's the guy who gels everybody. It doesn't matter what language you're speaking, that smile and that the way he presents himself as being a superstar, but still, hugging guys and, joking around. One of my favorite stories is he and Jason Hayward were playing 18 and under ball together. And Freddie's from California. Hayward's from here on the East Coast, from Atlanta. And they met up in a tournament in Texas. And Freddie's playing first base, and Hayward, rips single down right field, and Freddie starts kicking dirt on Hayward's shoes. Every time he leads off, he kicked dirt on him. And Hayward's telling the story. He's looking at this guy, this big white dude, just kicking dirt all over my new cleats. And it's pissing me off. And about the fourth time he did it, he looked over and Freddie just smiles and nods. And then they ended up getting drafted by the Braves. So we came up through the minors together, and they used to laugh about that story all the time. It's just so Freddie's definitely my guy now. I love Acuna. I love Ozzie. There's a lot of guys to like on our team, but Freddie's the heart and soul. So
that's three good ones. Absolutely. Well, the Yankees update, guys. I hate this team. DJ, how many times have I said that this year?
Quite a bit.
I hate this team. So they lost 3 of 4 from the Blue Jays, and then they lost 2 of 3 with the Marlins. The only thing that saved them from having to face the Rays, which would have been a disaster in the first round of the playoffs, was the Blue Jays lost as well that last day. So somehow we managed to draw the Indians, which is an equally bad draw for the Yankees, I think.
Best pitcher in the playoffs.
What is it?
Best pitcher in the playoffs resides in Cleveland.
Yeah. The Yankees are Jekyll and Hyde, man. So they have a bunch of studs, and all of them have had their moments. They can't put it all together at the same time. It's so bad that Sanchez is now not our starting catcher. I don't know if you knew that, DJ. We've talked about that a bunch, but they decided at least part-time to go with Shioka, at least when Garrett Cole pitches. Sanchez is a head case. Defense is bad. He's hitting about 130. So it's been a rough year, man. It's hard to get on board with this team. There's just nothing for me that draws me to them other than maybe Luke Voigt. He seems to have the attitude that I like to see. But we can't stay on the field altogether. It's been rough. DJ, this week we talked about Clark Schmidt in our Yankees update. He made his debut as a starter. He pitched a couple innings earlier. Didn't pitch bad in that last game, so that's kind of exciting. Davy Garcia still looks real. He had one of the wins this week. And Garrett Cole had a great start. And if not for a couple bad starts there about a month ago, I think he'd be in that Cy Young conversation as well. But nobody's beaten Bieber this year, I don't think. So, like I said, drew the Indians, who are hot. They're 8-2 in their last 10 games. I think they've won – at one point they won 8 straight. And other than 1 week of the season, they've been a pretty good team all year. So I'm not expecting good things out of that series, guys. I don't know. What do you guys think?
You're going to have to beat Bieber at least once.
Yeah.
Because Ramirez is as good a hitter as there is, and inevitably in the postseason, those great hitters find their way to the plate in that key moment. It's just weird
Yeah.
how it happens. So
I was reading up on the Indians today. They're fairly local for us. I follow them a little bit, and they're a scary team, man, because they don't have a lot of good hitters, but the ones that they have are really good. They're battle tested. They've been a playoff team. So what's amazing to me about the Indians is you trade Clevenger, you trade Bauer, and they're still there. They're still there. It's amazing to me. So
didn't even blink.
that's right.
Yeah.
And here's why I think the Yankees are going to lose this series, and we're going to talk about this later. And I hate to admit this, but it's Tito Francona, man. He's just that good. He's just that good. So anyway, that's my Yankees update for the week. It's pretty pitiful. It's been hard to watch this year, guys. I'm over it.
Well, what might save you, David? What might save you is Tito's not coaching in this series. He's out, man. So I don't know how much pull he's going to have on Sandy Alomar Jr. in the bench. He may still have his say here and there. I don't know how involved he's going to be, but he's not going to be on the field with his health concerns. So maybe that's a plus for them. I really like when we talk about this later. I think that could come into effect a little bit. So
yeah, good point. Very good point. Very good point. Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. I'm pretty down on it. My only hope is I've been reading a book about Joe Torre, and I had forgotten that going into the 2000 World Series, the Yankees were like 2-13 in their last 15 games. So maybe they'll find it like they did a couple weeks ago when I was ready to fire Aaron Boone. I don't know. So we'll see. So, guys, let's talk a little Temple baseball. Joe, when I showed up as a 155-pound freshman with a very intimidating bunch of Southern loudmouths, I can say that, right, DJ?
Oh, yeah.
I'll have to say, you were the one guy that reached out to the Hick West Virginian, and I always appreciated that. But tell us a little bit about your baseball career, starting high school, and lead us right up to the end.
Yeah, so played at Duluth High my freshman year. Loved it. First time I ever got on a high school field. First fastball I saw, hit it over the left field fence. And I was like, this is easy, And then I grounded out and struck out, But always loved the game, loved where I grew up. Small town, Duluth, Georgia. Produced quite a few baseball players, big league baseball players through the years. And so I felt like I was, had some pretty good competition. And got in my sophomore year, and my parents decided to move me to a Christian academy, which is a definite step down and in competition. And that year I struck out 2.5 guys an inning. That's the kind of competition it wasn't just, it wasn't like I was that good. It's just the competition wasn't very good. And played there my junior year also. And then my senior year, I went to Greater Atlanta. And at Greater Atlanta, played fall ball there. Arm got hurt. Ended up bowing out for a good part of the season. Tendonitis mainly from my elbow. We talked about this pre-show, but I just played so much from the time I was 13 all the way it was year round, never stopped. And so by the time I got to my senior year, my arm was aching a bit. When it was good, I was throwing 92, 93, which was fun. But I was always doing as an arm guy. I could hit, but I was slow. I could field and I could throw, but if it was out of my range, there wasn't a prayer I was getting to it. So I was a corner infielder at best. And so my arm was kind of my thing. And came into college, really excited to play college ball. My arm finally felt good. I'd taken the year off essentially. And got up there and had a tryout, signed a scholarship the next day with Coach Templeton. Really enjoyed my time with him. A little different than what I expected, maybe. Coming from where I did East Cobb baseball in high school, the competition is pretty escalated, and was expecting maybe a more competitive environment. But got used to it and played pretty well. The hardest I've ever been clocked was actually in my freshman year. I threw 95 closing the game out up at Lee University in our playoffs. Threw 9 fastballs, all straight down the middle, and nobody could hit one. That was kind of that's one of the things I will never forget the rest of my life is how hard I was throwing that night. And I got some verification on what the mile per hour was. And so anyway, sophomore year was good. Met David that year. Was able to meet somebody from West Virginia that I could understand without an accent too thick. No, I'm just kidding. But, we had a little group of pitchers that kind of stuck together and hung out a good bit. And David and I became friends pretty quickly, I would say.
Mhm.
It's not hard because you don't know everybody on a college campus. So whoever you end up hanging out with is generally who you become friends with. But I always respected David for who he was as a guy because, you could talk to him about pretty much anything, not just baseball. Played my sophomore year, my junior year at Temple. Really enjoyed it. Arm got to hurting again, and got a ton of great memories. But that was kind of it for me. I just, I think I burned it out pretty quick. My dad, who was a professional scout for quite a while, always told me that I only had so many curveballs in my arm, and evidently I had thrown my share. So that was it. Loved it. Had a blast. Tons of memories. Some I'd rather forget. Some are etched in my mind for the beauty and the fun it was. But as you guys recall, I was a competitive guy on the field, and when I didn't feel like I could compete, it angered me even more, and I think that's what ended up driving me from the game was just the thought that, hey, I'm not going to be the best I can be, then I'm not going to play. And as I told you before, probably more of a stupid 21-year-old thought process. Thinking back now, I'd do anything to play again. I'd do anything to get out there and feel a part of a team. Hang out with the guys, compete. See how good I can be against the guy who's in front of me. And but man, it was a great ride and taught me a lot of awesome lessons.
Yeah.
Baseball will humble you pretty quickly. When the best of the best are successful 30% of the time, it's a pretty humbling game sometimes. So
Joe, take us. I've always wondered this, man. Take us a little bit behind the scenes at the Friend household. So how honest do you think your dad was with you regarding your future in baseball?
We used to have quite a few conversations. So Dad coached me all the way through Little League, and I threw my first no-hitter in Pee Wee ball. Okay, I think I was 8, and struck out like 12 guys in 4 or 5 innings or whatever. We think we only played 5 innings back then. So, and it got me to thinking. I'm like, if I want to play baseball all the way through high school, what position do I want to play? And I just decided right there. I think I'm going to pitch. And so when we took that direction, he pushed me in that direction. When I said, hey, this is what I want to do. And he always told me, you're going to get what you give, whatever you're willing to give to the game is what you're going to get back out of it. So if you're willing to work at it, you could make it. And he would always tell me, I think you have enough talent and I think you have enough instinct to make it, but it's going to be determined on how hard you're willing to work. And so I took that to heart and worked pretty hard at the game. Did a lot of running, push-ups, sit-ups. Had a little regimen I did every day at the house. It's probably when I was about 40 pounds thinner in college than I am now. But yeah, he always used to tell me, and the good thing was when I had a bad game, he'd tell me. It wasn't, it was just an off day. He'd say, hey, your form was off. Your foot wasn't hitting in the right spot. Your mechanics were off, so your arm's probably going to hurt here and here, and it would. Because he was a professional scout, he could tell me, with pretty exacting words, this is what needs to change and this is how you need to change it. So I felt like I got a pretty realistic picture from him. His dad was in the military, so there wasn't a whole lot of mincing words around his house growing up, and it was very similar to mine.
Talk a little bit about your professional opportunities.
So coming out of high school, Dad was what we call a bird dog for the Braves at the time, and a lot of the scouts knew me. They knew who I was. They had a file on me, and back then there were 50 rounds in the draft, and what would happen is if a team knew somebody wasn't going to be selected in the first 50, Major League would allow them to keep drafting, and you don't have to draft after 50. All 28 back then was 28 teams would draft. And this was the expansion year. I'm sorry, 30, because it was expansion year for the Diamondbacks. And so the Diamondbacks actually drafted me in round 52, I think. So it was after the official draft. And but what they did was they said, hey, we're willing to give you an invite to minor league ball. You'll have to earn your way on. We're not going to promise you anything. We won't pay you nothing. But, and so knowing what I knew, I said, well, I think, if I have a good year my freshman, sophomore, and junior year, I could probably get drafted a lot higher. So it wasn't really a discussion. It was more of a, it happened, and then let's move on, So, and of course, the future being unknown and not knowing what I knew, I do wonder every once in a while, what if I'd have gone and just tried out and just kept going. Did try out for a few other teams. I tried out for the Mariners, tried out for the Reds. Mariners got me at 93 on their tryout, but at that point, they weren't looking for righties. They had enough righties in their system. And so because I was throwing from the right side, it just wasn't going to happen. So, but anyway, yeah, I had a blast. By that time, again, my arm was not what it was in college. So it's probably a good thing they didn't pull the trigger, because I'd probably been on the DL within a couple of weeks with my arm. So that was it.
One of my cool memories too is when we would go to UT and played Tennessee, and you were on the mound, and JP had about 400 putouts in center field that game. I think he broke an NCAA Division I record that game with like 20-something putouts. It was unbelievable, man, how much you got them to pop up to him or fly out to JP out in center.
Do you remember the one catch, like dead sprints, leaping this away from the – I mean, I've never been on a field playing where a better catch was made. That was I'll never forget that catch. So
it was an awesome day for him, and real fun day for all of us, man, no doubt. And you were a competitor, man. You were a blast to play with, man. And I'm not trying to bring up bad things, because I know like we all have hurts in this game, but man, me and David were talking if we had you our senior year with Ben Foster, and I would have loved to have seen you and Ben healthy, and David and all those guys, and Dusty. And I mean, Dusty and Ben also went on to professional careers too. So man, we'd have had you three at the top there. It had been unbelievable. And Stiltner, and just a lot of guys that we had on that team that could have really, really made us pretty awesome that year. And just didn't happen obviously for you, and that's no fault of yours or anything, but would have been great to see that, no doubt. And we did enjoy. I mean, I was with you. My redshirt freshman year was, the fall of '98. I came in and always respected you guys. And I, like David said, man, it was a culture shock for me to come and see all these Southern boys out there playing ball. Man, I would never seen anything like it. I think the Twins are the only ones that kept me grounded, and Billy, since they were all New York guys. And but man, it was tough and weird for me. But at first it was. But the more I got to know all you guys, the more I loved you guys and loved playing for you, and would have your back on anything, man. And it was a joy to play center field behind you, and it was just a lot of fun to play with you, man.
It was a blast on my end too. I always used to think, have you ever seen the picture of, I forget his name, Pee Wee something or other, the guy who used to scrunch down at the plate so he could get walked in the major leagues? I always thought if DJ just really got down low, I wonder how many walks he could get.
He likes swinging at those high balls. So.
He did, man, every time.
Yeah.
Nose higher, he's cutting.
That's a stuck, man. It's like I'd hate facing you guys in inter squads more than I would other teams' pitchers because they didn't know how to get me out, and you guys did, and that ticked me off. So, you throw me that high fastball, you know you got a shot at getting me out for sure. And no, man, Joe, one of the cool things that you said to me a while ago too, and I don't know if you remember this or not, but one day you just kind of messaged me out of the blue, and you're like, "Hey, man, you know, you reminded me of Reed Johnson," and I was like, "Oh gosh," like, and David knows how much that actually meant to me, you know, like for you to say that was really cool, man, and because that's my guy, you know, I love Reed Johnson and Kirby Puckett are my favorite center fielders of all time, and that was really cool of you to say that, man. It like made my day. I was just like, it's like really cool, man. So
you did. You even had some mannerisms that were similar. You guys play the game hard, both of you, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but you make the most of your talent. Reed was never going to be, you know, in the Hall of Fame, but it didn't stop him from giving every ounce of everything he had every single game. And to be honest with you, there are a lot of guys in the Hall of Fame that I wouldn't take before I'd take a guy like Reed Johnson. So it was a compliment. It was meant that way.
I appreciate that, man.
So.
That's awesome. Hey, one real quick story. We talked about this off air. I just want to bring it up again. Talking about Joe's competitive spirit. So we went on a spring break trip. And, you know, when you're on Tennessee Temple's baseball team, you don't get the money. Basketball does, or it goes somewhere. So we end up having to sleep on the floor in a gym. And we had a wiffle ball game going. I was injured, so I had to be the ump. And Joe is so competitive. I don't think he spoke to me for a couple of days because I called that balk in the last inning. That cost you the game. Joe, you want to talk about that at all?
Yeah, I remember you in a sling throwing the strike signs with your left hand. And it was, I think Coach had come in and said, "Hey guys, you know, this is the last inning. We got to get to bed." And I was like, "That's right. It's the last time. I'm gonna put this to bed right now." You know. And I think it was Shelton on third. I think it was.
I think it was
because he was Shelton on third, and he had hit left-handed against me, which really pissed me off. Honestly, he had hit a ball left-handed and gotten on base. And I think, if I remember correctly, I was in my tennis shoes and my ankle rolled. And you were like, "Nope, that's a balk." And I was like, "What are you talking? We're playing wiffle." You're like, "Nope, that's a balk. You here." And I think I threw the ball up in the air and walked off the field.
You did. You were testy for a couple of days after that. I was like, "Man, Joe, we're boys. This wasn't that big a deal." He was mad.
I don't care if we're playing tiddlywinks. I want to win. I don't like losing. And, you know, especially back then, you know, I hadn't been grounded by a woman yet. So nowadays my wife finally is comfortable playing canasta with me because I don't try to cut her at every corner, you know.
That's so funny. So. Oh man. Well, guys, I could literally talk about this for hours, but I guess it's time to move on. Let's talk a little bit, DJ. Let's talk about awards. So give me MVP, Rookie of the Year, Coach of the Year, GM of the Year for both leagues, real quick.
All right, American League MVP, Jose Ramirez, Indians.
Wait a minute. Stop.
Wait a minute. Here we go. Let's argue. Come on.
LeMahieu. It's LeMahieu.
Nope.
Oh, you're not going that direction?
No. You know where I'm going. The same place I went a couple weeks ago.
You're going Abreu, aren't you?
It's Jose Abreu, man. It's not even close.
That's what I just said. I knew you were going to say this. Jose Abreu is your MVP?
Fight me. You can't. Well, go ahead. Go ahead with the rest of them. I don't get this one.
Where does Abreu play?
He plays first base. He's literally leading the league in pretty much every offensive category. All of them.
Yeah, but who plays the harder defensive position?
Jose Ramirez.
And who has the higher F-WAR?
I don't know. That's actually I don't know. DJ hates those stats until it helps him.
Yeah, Ramirez. Ramirez is leading the American League in F-WAR this year.
He's also hitting like 270 or something.
289.
289.
289
I
is
think I have
phenomenal.
the stats in front of me, but my boy Abreu's hitting 320.
Mm-hmm.
He not only leads the league in RBIs, he's like second in home runs. He leads the league in OPS. He leads the league in runs created. It's not close.
You
On
got,
one
Joe?
side of the ball, sir.
What do you got,
I'm
Joe?
sure he doesn't suck at first base. He can't help that that's where he plays.
No, he's good. He's like I was at first base. If it's right here, I'll get to it. Anything outside of that, I ain't getting there.
Listen, he has single-handedly put the White Sox on his back and carried them right to the playoffs.
I will tell you that he is the reason they're there because he is the heart of his team. His
And
team
also
goes
most
how he
valuable.
goes. But Ramirez is a more valuable player to his team because of the surrounding cast.
I just can't go there. I just can't do it. All right, DJ, keep going.
Joe agrees with me, just so you know. Joe.
Y'all texted about this off air. I know you did.
Hey, David, guess what? I'm never going to pick a White Sox to do anything good.
Well, he should be the MVP. I'm just going to leave it.
All right. How about we do this? I'll just keep going, and we'll do our picks in a circle. Like, we'll just keep AL General Manager of the Year, Ross Atkins of the Blue Jays. I'm going to go
Agreed.
with him because I talked about the Blue Jays making the playoffs this year with that young core that they got. This needed to happen this year. And at the deadline, he went nuts and got the guys he needed to do. They're going to get destroyed in the playoffs, I believe. But just getting there is going to make this young core even more going after it. They're going to be very energized to do this next year to get better and better. I think he put them in a good position getting Hunyan Ryu this year. I think he's developed a lot of young talent, did a lot of great things in the draft. The trade deadline was awesome. It's very weird kind of to give an 8th seed the GM of the year, but I really believe that Toronto needed this. And for that reason, I'm going to go with Atkins. David?
Yeah, I totally agree. For every reason you just said. They had an opening. He recognized it, and he went out and got players to help him through. I agree. I don't think they're going to get through the first round of the playoffs, but I think there's a chance it might be closer than people think. But good job by the Blue Jays. They just about hopped the Yankees. Who would have thought that would have happened before the year started? So I can't disagree.
Joe, what do you got, bud?
He would be my second choice. Neander in Tampa Bay is my number one guy for obvious reasons. There's more restrictions in Tampa than any other place in the majors. Yeah. Not just monetary, but just fan support. And he's got a piecemealed bunch of – he's got 2 guys from the Korean leagues playing. Phenomenal job. Does a great job keeping one starting pitcher supported in Snell, and then brings in guys that you've never heard of, and then all of a sudden you're talking, oh, they're top 15 Cy Young this year. I think it's an amazing job year in and year out down there, and to have Tampa Bay Rays as the number 1 seed in the playoffs is historic. So that's why I went there.
Never thought that would happen. Me and DJ talked about this. We think they have like some black magic or something working there. Like
Them and the Marlins in starting pitching. Good grief.
Right.
Every time you turn around.
That's the Jeter effect. All right, DJ.
Well, along those lines, as we continue here, the American League Manager of the Year, here's where I throw my love to Tampa and go Kevin Cash. Phenomenal job. That guy is unbelievable as a manager. Love him. And Joe, guess what, buddy? He's got a stable full of guys who throw 98.
Yes, he does.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I might be able to manage his bullpen and his starting staff, but I don't know about the opener though. That's the one thing. I don't know if I could manage an opener, but
Yeah.
I have Cash too. I think
Awesome.
Cash.
Rick Renteria. So while I love Kevin Cash and can't disagree that he's awesome, everybody in the world said this was the year that the Rays were going to hop the Yankees. Nobody thought the White Sox were going to end up in the playoffs. And so for that reason, I'm going with Renteria. He has a whole bunch of young guys. DJ, you know you love it. They got a great core. They're set up down the line. The White Sox are super dangerous in the playoffs. I'm loving on them. I'm telling you, man, Rick Renteria.
Tell you what, they have 2 of my 3 AL Rookie of the Year candidates on that squad.
Yeah. Hey.
They're going to be good for a while as long as they stay healthy.
The AL Cy Young is real obvious, you know.
My ears working. Did you say Rick Renteria?
Yeah.
Hold on. Time out. Why are you wearing a Yankees hat tonight? Where's your Sox hat?
I'm going to get one. I'm going to get one.
You were killing me. Rick Renteria is the AL Manager of the Year?
DJ,
They're lucky they
other
made
than the Marlins, they improved more than any team, any of them. Come on, man.
They're the 7.
Cats won like 100 games last year. That's no news.
I could not disagree with you anymore on that. Unbelievable.
AL Cy Young. I want to talk about this for a minute. AL Cy Young, DJ.
If you don't say Shane Bieber, you're going to get kicked off the show or put on.
Well, I was going to say Shane Bieber, but you know who I want to throw some love to? I want to throw some love to Dallas Keuchel right here, DJ.
Oh, my gosh.
1.99 ERA. Unsung hero. What a great signing. 6-2.
What's his whip?
109, I think. I don't have it in front of me. I'm thinking 109.
7.
A 109? I don't think it's 109.
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna Google it. Y'all keep talking.
Yo, who you got?
Definitely on board with Bieber. Be honest with you, I don't think there's any other candidates.
Nope.
You know, it's just one of those years. Maybe in the second half, had we had a normal season, he would have slowed down and somebody else would have picked up, like we always see at the end of the season. But nah, it's
Bieber's
his
the
year.
man. He's the man. Bieber's unreal. He's the man. But I'm just telling you, Keuchel doesn't get any love in those conversations. Like I said, 1.99 ERA. I'm looking for his whip here. I can't. 1.089. There, Joe friend.
Wow.
Doesn't strike out a lot of
guess
guys.
that.
Dangerous playoff pitcher. Dallas Keuchel needs some love. He needs to get a couple votes. That's all I'm saying.
Votes for second, maybe. He's
Yeah. He may get some second place votes.
He should be the
Bieber was
second place guy. But have you guys heard anybody mention him in the conversation?
No.
Nope.
No.
Should be. He should be in the conversation.
No, we'd love to have him back. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, he's a stud, man. I like me some Dallas Keuchel, and I love the White Sox.
I wouldn't call him a stud, but I would say we'd rather have him than Josh Tomlin starting games.
Yeah. Bieber was the Triple Crown winner, 8-1, 163 ERA, 122 Ks, and 0.87 WHIP. First to win the Triple Crown since 2006, Johan Santana. That's impressive.
How many Ks?
122.
I mean, wrap your mind around that for just a moment. So, like half the innings that he pitched, he struck out the side.
2 to 3 every inning.
Crazy.
That's just.
This curveball's a joke, man. It's like Bugs Bunny, man. Just the bottom falls out of it. It's unreal.
It reminds me of Trian's sinker a couple years back. You'd watch it.
Yeah.
Mid-break, at 98. Yeah, I remember. But, yeah, he's amazing this year. Amazing. Put it all together.
All right, DJ, what else you got?
National League MVP, Freddie Freeman.
MV free.
Easily.
Well, hold on. I'm with you on Freddie Freeman. I'm not denying that. But, man, Juan Soto, Freddie Freeman was second in a bunch of batting categories, like almost all of them. And the dude he was second to was Juan Soto.
He was second in 3 categories.
And so Soto played like 10 less games than Freeman.
Yep.
Had the same amount of home runs. And like I said, I'm on board with Freeman. I have no problem with that. But, Joe, he plays a non-essential first base.
He does.
Soto plays in the outfield. So how can you make that work when you're making
Because if you
argument?
go back to the F WAR, Freddie is still being him an F WAR, even though he's at a non-premium position. That's how much better he was offensively.
So you're a pretty big believer in the F WAR, huh?
I like it a lot better than the B WAR, but I like that it gives us some level ground because you can throw out home runs or you can throw out average, and one guy believes in one and one guy. This is just an all-encompassing stat, and it's not perfect. Don't get me wrong, but it's the best we got. So,
I'm a semi-believer too, but there are players where it doesn't make any sense. And the one I always bring up, and look this up, Joe, because you probably haven't looked at it. Look up Brett Gardner's WAR for the last 10 years.
Yeah, he's like a 31 or something like that.
It's ridiculous. He's up there with some of the top players in the game.
Yep.
It just doesn't add up. I mean, as a Yankee fan, listen, I like Brett Gardner and all, but and I realize it takes into account running stats and like that, and all that stuff's important.
Yep.
Come on, man. Brett Gardner's no Juan Soto or Mike Trout, and there's years when he's close. He's close.
Yep.
So,
well, the short porch definitely helps him, and he does play a premium position, so he's going to get higher points for every out, every run down, fly ball, and all that. So,
and he swings a good bat in the dugout, right, DJ? All right, DJ. AL Cy Young.
No, NL.
National League Cy Young is
Yeah.
Yu Darvish.
That's what I meant to say.
Yu Darvish. I know I'm a little biased, but he has the highest WAR out of any pitcher in this competition. He is a 2.01 ERA. He has the most wins at 8, which does matter, and he has 93 Ks. Bite me, David.
Trevor Bauer, dude. It's Trevor Bauer.
I will give you that this was the hardest one by far of every single one of these to pick because there's a lot of candidates you can make a strong case for. And Trevor Bauer is one of them, and I'll give you that. I'm not going to argue too much with you, but I'm going with my guy, you.
Come on, Joe. Help me out.
Can't do it. I have Darvish. That is actually who I have written down for 2 reasons. Yu has had all the promise in the world, and this is the year he's put it together. It's finally – I mean, he's been good, but he's been hurt on and off. Call me wrong, but when he was with Texas, it seemed like he kind of bowed out of some games, and it seems like he's kind of grown into the warhorse you want him to be. Bauer, on the other hand, while the stats are phenomenal, is kind of the opposite in the clubhouse. He is the anti-leader. He's a malcontent, and frankly speaking, I take into an account what the guy does on his team as far as leadership and other things, and I believe that plays a big role in what the team chemistry is. So I'm with Darvish on this one. That's
I hate Trevor Bauer, the person. So I just want to get that out of the way. Me and DJ have talked about this.
so.
But his ERA is a quarter run lower
Yep, it is.
than Darvish. More strikeouts than Darvish. I don't know, guys.
Less quality starts.
Than Darvish?
Less WAR and less wins.
Yep.
I know he's got less wins. I know he's got 2 complete game shutouts, by the way, which I know those were 7-inning shutouts, but he's got them. Okay,
Yeah.
Take it away. He still had to throw them. 73 innings, 41 hits. He had 1 less start than Darvish. I don't know. I'm going with Bauer.
It's a good debate.
It
I
is good.
respect that. I respect that one. That's tough. I'll give you that. I can't disrespect you for that one. NL General Manager of the Year, AJ Preller. No need to say anything else.
Yeah, no argument here. What do you got, Joe?
You make it unanimous.
That was easy. What a job there. We're going to talk about them in a little bit too. Phenomenal job he did. Unbelievable. NL Manager of the Year. Curious to what you guys are going to say here. I think Jace Tingler did a really good job. However, I'm going with Don Mattingly of the Marlins for what he did with that team, with all that they went through this year for them to make the playoffs. Was an outstanding job by Don Mattingly. I mean, I was talking to David about this, Joe. It seems like when you play the Marlins, you're playing their A-ball team until their major league team and everything in between. Because all year long, you're like, who's this guy? Where did this guy come from? Who's he? They're like,
Well, it was a little different this year. They brought in some names, Aguilar and a few other guys. But yeah, from the very first game that we played them to the end of the season, like 2/3 of the roster was different, and that's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
I liked Mattingly. I actually went with Bell from the Reds. I feel like their team was picked to play a lot better, but they had a lot of issues this year, and he really managed through them well. So I went with Bell from the Reds.
David, what'd you do? Did you do?
Yeah, I'm with you. I like Mattingly. Again, his team improved the most of any team. And so I kind of put him in the same category with Renteria. I mean, if your team improves that much, you've done a phenomenal job. And Mattingly was even more disadvantaged than Renteria was, obviously. He didn't have any of the big names. They had most of the roster out for COVID issues. And it felt like it was slipping away there at one point. And then then they come in the last of the season and would take 2 of 3 from the Yankees. So great job. I mean, it's amazing.
I'll tell you what, Sixto Sanchez is going to be something to reckon with in the next
For real.
years. That kid has quite an arm.
Little worried about him with the Cubs. I'm not going to lie, coming up this week, but hopefully he stays wild like he's been this last couple weeks. Because if not, he can be on.
Yeah.
He was dealing against us, and he shut down a lineup that was putting up 10, 12 runs a game. It was amazing.
So NL Rookie of the Year is the last one, and I'm going Jake Cronenworth of the Padres.
This was tough. I went with Alec Bohm. I just looked at their offensive stats. I realized Cronenworth definitely has more WAR. He plays several different positions. He's on a premium team. But I really like Bohm. Hit 338, same amount of home runs, more runs in less games, same amount of RBIs. So, but you can make the argument either way.
I thought Hayes from Pitt was pretty good this year as
Yeah.
a latecomer. Out of nowhere I don't keep up with the Pirates minor league system, but man, that kid can play. Cronenworth, I got 26-year-old as a rookie is pretty cool. Bomb I had, but I'm going to pull one out of left field here. Devin Williams of Milwaukee. Have you looked at his stats?
Oh, yeah.
His whip is .63.
Yeah.
Anyway, 9 walks and 53 Ks in 27 innings.
Wow.
So I thought, shortened season, bullpens mean more this year. And I thought, what if a reliever was able to win Rookie of the Year, not a non-closer because he wasn't a closer right up front. But that's who I chose is Devin Williams from Milwaukee. I just thought it was a great story. Good
pick. Yeah, those relievers get lost a lot of times, man. And right now, their value is higher than at any other time. Those middle relief guys, and I had him on my fantasy team there for a little bit because of the case. So I'm definitely respecting his work for sure.
Who did you have for AL Rookie of the Year?
Who did I have for AL Rookie?
I forgot that one.
Yeah, we did. My boy from Seattle.
Yeah.
Kyle Lewis, right? Yep. So it would have been my boy from the White Sox, Luis Robert, but he went in a big slump right there the last about 3 weeks of the season. He was like one for his life. But what do you think, Joe?
Lewis, I have as my number 1. A close number 2, though, is actually Hewer from the White Sox, starting pitcher. Man, that kid's got a future too, and he reminds me a little bit, and so I'll bring you guys some memories of Jeff Buznitz.
Yeah,
his arm gets way back here. I mean, it's pretty awesome. But yeah, I thought he was pretty impactful too for a team that was not expected to compete. Similar to what we were talking about before, but he would be a close number 2 for me.
Yeah, DJ, isn't that awesome that the White Sox had 2 Rookie of the Year candidates? You want to expound on that at all?
I'm gonna go with no comment. Plead the fifth.
Tell you what, Robert is a pretty awesome outfielder too.
Yeah, he is.
He's gonna be a force to be reckoned with for sure.
Hey man, White Sox, Moncada, Eloy Jimenez, Lucas Giolito.
Hey, so that kicks us up right into our next segment here. Let's just start there. A's and White Sox. David, I'm curious because the A's are your boys and your White Sox are your boys. Who's winning that series? Because this is the one I've been waiting to hear all day.
Well, first of all, I just want to say that the worst pick of any of our picks throughout the year. I just want to bring this up one last time. Joe, DJ picked the Angels to win the division at the beginning of the year. Angels. They were running out like pitchers I'd never heard of. And so then we get to I have some love for the White Sox. DJ's love for the Angels is so bad. He had Dylan Bundy starting the All-Star game. I mean, so anyway, we'll just leave that right there. This is a really tough one for me, DJ. I'm not going to lie, because the A's pitching has been trending the wrong direction the last few weeks.
And Chapman's out.
Yes. So I'm going to pick the White Sox to take this one.
What?
I'm picking them. Yeah. What do you think, DJ? You think the A's are going to take it and go to the World Series?
David, I got a question for you as we're on this one here. Before I give you that answer. So, out of the last 21 seasons, the A's have made the playoffs 11 times. David, how many playoff series have they won in those 11 playoffs?
I know they're like 0-8 versus the Yankees. I just want to throw that out there. Is it 0?
It is 1. They won one play. And this is my hate for the A's. Okay? They get there every year, and then they just crud out. So, Oakland.
I feel like he's giving me some heat over here with the Braves.
Yeah.
He's not saying it specifically, but he's throwing this out, knowing that it's poking a pin in my side.
Leading to the Braves. No, but the A's fans don't want to see them get to the playoffs anymore, and this is my hate for the A's, man. And since they drew the White Sox, I think that might go to 2. I'm picking the A's. I'm sticking with it. I would never pick the White Sox. You know better. I'm going with the A's. I think that they're going to get that second playoff win, and then they're going to bow out in the next round and be done. And then is that a successful season for the A's? I don't think so, because they were so hot at the beginning of the year. Everybody thought was on the A's train, and they're going to win the World Series, and they're going to be out in the second round, and nobody's going to remember them. And then they'll do the same next year. So they'll win this round and then move on. So, Joe, what do you think, A's or White Sox?
What do you think I'm going to say?
I know where you're going.
Sox. It's a Sox series, man.
That's right.
They've got more than enough offense. They've got just enough starting pitching for a 3-game series. I mean, what 2 pitchers are going to be better on either team? I think I would go with Swor and Giolito on the White Sox. So that's just – I think starting pitching ends up winning these short series. I think offense wins the longer series in the end. So,
and the White Sox have a little bit of both. That's the great thing. The White Sox have a little bit of both. Now, like I said, I was a big A's fan going in. I really thought Luzardo and at the time Puck would be difference makers. And, of course, Puck went down. Luzardo's been hit and miss. Mm-hmm. I don't want to face Keuchel in a playoff series. Heck no. I don't want to face Giolito. They got Dane Dunning. They got a bunch of guys, man. White Sox are for real.
I cannot believe what I'm hearing. All the A's love that you gave all year long. You loved on the A's, and now you're kicking them out in the first round to a 7 seed. To a 7 seed. You're saying that they're the 2 seeds going down to the 7 seed.
They're going down.
Love is gone.
It's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
All right, Twins and Astros. I'm going Twins. The Trash Bangers are done. Their season has been awful. Their pitching has been destroyed by losing Garrett Cole and Verlander going down to injury. I don't think that Greinke and McCullers can do it in the playoffs. If that's your 1 and 2, you're in trouble in this. I think you're one of the lower rotations as far as all these guys go. The Twins smash. I love the Twins.
I think the Twins are going to win as well. But do you really trust the Twins starting pitching? Kenta Maeda is their number 1. He couldn't even make the Dodgers rotation a year ago. Are you really trusting that?
Jose Barrios and Maeda, Rich Hill. I'll take those guys with their offense.
I'm picking them too. What do you got, Joe?
Well, the Twins are going to win the series. My only question is how many times are they going to hit the Astros during the playoff series before somebody gets tossed?
It'd be interesting to see if they get the first batter and just get it out of the way and then go from there.
Drill Springer right in the ribs and be like, sorry,
Sorry. Yeah.
it slipped.
My bad. Now we're going to get to Tampa and the Blue Jays. I think this is a 2-game series. Good on the Blue Jays for making it. What a great season they had, but it comes to an end. There's no way they hang with Tampa. These guys are one of the favorites. What an outstanding organization. They've been run well all year. I'm going Tampa in 2.
Tampa.
Make it 3. Yeah, absolutely.
So now we get to the intriguing one. This is the matchup in the AL that I think is the most intriguing by far.
I think Mr. Swor is sweating this one quite heavily.
I think he is too, man. You got the Indians and the Yankees, buddy. And I know where you're going with this, but before you go, I'm going to give your team some love and say they're going to pull it off in 3. They're not going to beat Bieber, but they're going to pull it off. But, man, I'll tell you what, Garrett Cole against Shane Bieber, that's the matchup of the first round, and I'm looking forward to that big time. That's going to be awesome. If they can sneak a win against Bieber, they've got it, I think. For some reason, I'm going Yankees in 3. What do you think, David?
I don't think it's going to happen, man. I think the Yankees I hate to say it, are going down. The magic, they just don't have the magic this year. I can't explain it. I love Garrett Cole. They might win that game. I'm not sure about the rest of them. So I'm going with Cleveland. Cleveland's battle tested. They're tough. They're scrappy. So I'm going with Cleveland.
Joe?
I'm going with Cleveland also. On a side note, I don't think that ball Acuna hit off of Cole has landed yet. But anyway, I think Cleveland's too much. And New York seems to be an all-or-nothing team. And when they're on, they're almost unbeatable. We saw that earlier in the season and then a little bit later in the season. But they have these lulls, and right now they're in one of those lulls. So going into the playoffs in a lull is not perfect. And then you got your big boppers that are just not doing it right now. It's just not happening. So I think Sanchez and his lack of production has hurt them much more than they expected with the rest of their lineup being so potent. I got Cleveland. I think Cleveland has the most dominant starting pitcher in all the playoffs, and you go with the team with the most dominant starter in general.
I agree with that. And so we in the American League predictions, David, I just want to throw this out there. David has thrown his man crush A's and his own team, the Yankees, out of the playoffs. Just wanted to throw that on there. Okay. So now we'll go to the National League. We will go to the Dodgers and the Brewers. As much as I think that Corbin Burns, I can't even say his name right because he came out of nowhere. Corbin Burns and Brandon Woodruff are a very good 1-2 punch. I hate the Brewers' offense. I think it's terrible. The Dodgers are legit. Walker Buehler and Clayton Kershaw with a team that doesn't know what's coming is going to be a lot better. I'm going Dodgers in 2. Obviously, they're one of the favorites. It's just good on the Brewers that they even made it. So I'm going Dodgers for sure.
Yep, I'm with you on that. Can't disagree with any of that. The Dodgers are just so deep, good in every area. Is Burns going to pitch, DJ, in the playoffs?
From everything I've heard, I believe he is, yes. And that's going to help the Brewers, obviously. So I believe.
What do you got, Joe?
Unanimous again. LA is way too good. They would have to have a massive collapse in order to lose the series. I think Mookie Betts could pitch game number 2 and probably win the series.
Awesome. All right, so on to the Padres and the Cardinals. Eric Hosmer's back. I love the Padres, man. I'm going Padres in this. I think it's going to be a 3-game series, though. I don't think it's going to be a sweep. I think it's going to be an interesting series. The Cardinals just find a way to win one of these probably, and it'll go 3, and I'm going Padres. What a team. Probably one of the most fun teams to watch this year. I enjoyed it thoroughly. I'm going Padres in 3.
Yeah, I'm going Padres as well. They're built for it. If Clevenger is able to pitch and be himself, the Dodgers are going to have their hands full down the line here. That's what I believe. But they need Clevenger to be himself. So I don't know if he's going to get a pitch. I've heard both ways, but I still think they have enough to carry this series.
I'm going upset here. St. Louis.
Okay.
Young kids in the playoffs, man. It just doesn't mix sometimes, and they're full of nothing but young kids. There's not a whole lot of veterans over there, so I'm going St. Louis with the experience. I think San Diego next year and every year after is going to be very dangerous, but I actually don't think Tatis is going to have a huge series. I think it's going to be a rough one because he's just young, hasn't been there before. So
he's been in a big slump. Tatis has been in a big slump. He ruined my fantasy team this year, ruined it. So, yeah, I mean, I could see that with those young guys. You're facing top-tier pitching when you get in the playoffs, and could be interesting.
Dinelson Lamet is also if him and Clevenger are hurting a little bit, they're in trouble. There's no doubt about this. I agree with that 100%. I'll throw a little fun fact at you here. Dinelson Lamet, his slider is the most unhittable pitch this year based off of all the metrics that they made. His slider is the number one pitch in baseball. Pretty cool stat there. So that's interesting, man. That's gonna be a really fun series. Cubs Marlins. Cubs are gonna win it. I was gonna pick that. I really believe it too. Do I think it's gonna be 3 games? I sure hope not, because if it goes 3, like I said, I'm worried about our third pitcher. So I hope we get it done in 2. If we go to that third game, I'm gonna be a mess. But I do believe the Cubs will pull it off.
I'm going to agree with you, DJ.
Yes.
But I'm going to tell you what, I think this is going to be interesting. I think there may be an upset brewing here. And listen to me. I know this is hard to believe, but the Cubs can't hit. The Cubs cannot hit. They are slumping, have been slumping for a while. A lot of these guys just haven't done anything all season. I love Darvish, but I'm telling you, man, he's going to be probably matched up with Sixto. Sixto can pitch with Darvish in the right, climate or whatever. So I'm going with the Cubs, but I think this one might be interesting.
Joe?
I'm going with the Cubs. I love Ross in this role. I really do. I think he is the perfect manager for this team. And I think they'll cruise through this. Actually, I think it'll be an easy series for them. That's just my 2 cents.
I am a little worried about the offense. I've told you this all year long. That's what scares me. Their pitching has been there all year. If it falls apart, then they just deserve to lose. But their offense is what definitely worries me when guys like
Such a homer comment. They deserve to lose if they don't get the pitching right.
Yep, you got it. It is, man. You're so right about that. If Baez, Rizzo, and Bryant hit like they have been all year, I can say Rizzo's been okay. He hasn't been bad. But Bryant had 4 RBI in one of these games against the White Sox, David. He literally doubled his RBI total for the year. So he's been awful. Baez has been awful. So we'll see. I'm definitely thinking they're going to win it, but it's going to be a nail biter. Which leads us to our last one. This is an interesting one. This is one that I've seen ESPN and the predictions has had this one as the closest one out of every series out there, Braves and Reds. I am going to go with the Braves. This is a tough one because I think that the Reds pitching with Bauer and Castillo and Gray possibly in Game 3 is very tough, but I am not a fan of the Reds offense. I think it's terrible. I'll take the Braves offense over them every single day. They've got a bunch of studs in that offense. They've got the pitching that can get them through, I believe, and I'm going Braves in 3.
So I've been back and forth on this all day, and you know how much I love the Braves. I've since the beginning of the year, I've been high on the Braves, and I'm going to push them through. But I'm telling you what, man, it would not surprise me one bit if the Reds even swept this series. I'm not kidding.
Yep.
And I love the Braves, but that pitching is just that good, and the Braves don't really have it. They don't have great pitching. But I do think Freddie Freeman and Acuna, all those guys that they have, those young studs, are going to carry them through this series. But like I said, it wouldn't surprise me at all if the Reds won.
Yeah, if we lose the first game, that series is over. Fried is the only ace we got, and Ian Anderson's going to be good, but again, young guys in the playoffs, it just doesn't mix. So I fully expect him to lose that second game for us. And then, Kyle Wright, He's been in the bigs 2.5 years now, essentially, and been up and down in the minors. I think we'll pull the series out. I think Ian Anderson, if he shows up and pitches well, it could really set us up for a nice little run through the playoffs. It really depends on him. I think we'll win the first game. I think we'll beat Bauer. I think he's a head case. And we've got too many sticks. Eventually, he's going to throw one over the middle, and somebody's going to let it loose, and then he's going to be out of his mind. So, but I am terrified of Castillo and Gray. I think both of them are amazing arms, but I don't know. I don't think they're going to score with us. So that's where I think we win it.
Yeah. So it's going to be exciting, guys. I can't wait, to be honest with you. This is my favorite time of the year, Joe. It's college football season. We got to talk about that sometime. Big Alabama fan right here. That's right. That's right.
Oh,
DJ, he's a big Illinois fan. No, he's not. He watches hockey in college football season or something. I don't know.
wife got me that for Christmas.
We'll have to have a show on that. This is just an awesome time of the year. It's starting to get a little chilly around here in West Virginia. The leaves are changing. And, man, nothing better than some October baseball. I'm super excited. So, guys, I guess we'll wrap it up. Do you guys have anything else you want to add, throw in?
No, I just want to say, Joe, it was great to have you on, man. I appreciate you coming on tonight, man. We love catching up with former teammates. It's been far too long since we've seen you, man. Hopefully one of these days, years, something we can all hook up somewhere and see each other and see your beautiful family you got going on there, man. Proud
Absolutely.
of you. Doing great, man. Love you. Good to have you tonight.
It's been awesome. Thank you so much for the conversation, for the laughs, the memories. Even though some of them were at my expense, really, really enjoyed my time with you guys. And I definitely agree we need to get together at some point, perhaps post-pandemic, and see if we can get our families together and have a barbecue or something. Maybe have some of that white sauce.
Amen. All right. Well, this will wrap it up. Can't wait to meet back up again next week, DJ. All these playoff series will be decided, and it's going to be interesting. So with all that being said, it's good to see everybody. DJ, we up to about 1,000 listeners now a week, something like that?
Something like that, yeah.
Somewhere in there. So it's good to see you guys again, and tune in next week.